Yesterday, I watched Avengers Endgame, and I've had a couple of hours to think about the movie, think about what I've watched, all that, really digest the movie, so to speak. And I wanted to make a video about it, a sort of review, if you will. I'm gonna try to make the first part of the review spoiler free. So if you wanna, just wanna hear my personal opinions loosely, the loose opinions of the movie, not on any specific parts of the movie, just listen to that. If you want spoilers or you've watched the movie and you want to hear, the entire review, just stick around. I'll probably tell you when I start getting spoilery. So, general thoughts about the movie. It's good. I mean, naturally it is. I mean, nobody really expected it to be a bad movie. Did they? Seriously? I didn't. I might have had too high hopes, but it was good. It was really good. How do you compare it to, like, let's say, the other MCU movies? Because, I mean, let's face it, everybody is all about that comparison. Everybody wants to compare everything. Is it comparable? Yeah, I guess. How does it match up against the others? Well, it's great. It's one of the best. It is. It really is one of the best. Does it stack up against Infinity War? I'm not sure. As it stands right now, I want to say no, because I feel like Infinity War was better. But then again, I've only watched Endgame once. Usually, these movies tend to, the opinion on them and the thoughts behind, the reviews and all that tends to evolve with a second viewing, so to speak. I'm going to watch it a second time, but I'm going to wait until it is released on Blu-ray because it's pretty expensive to go to the theater. Also, 3 hours in the theater, the cinema is not the best. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really awesome. There are tons of cool stuff in it. Lots of cool stuff. It's really good. That's, yeah, basically, they handle it well. If you want to make a comparison, for example, Kingdom Hearts was released recently. That was the final part of the entire Kingdom Hearts series, so to speak, and the story in that game was a big letdown. Sure, it was the finale, but the build up to the finale in the game itself wasn't very good. And then the finale was kind of just chopped together. In this movie, I feel like they build up the finale pretty well with the first parts of the movie. And they really did a great job with the actual finale of the movie. That's about as spoilery as I'm going to get. If I had to give it a rating, 1 through 10, something like that. I don't know, 8, 9, 9.5. In that area, it's really good. It's not perfect. Only a perfect movie can get a 10. Only a perfect game can get a 10. I don't think I've ever rated anything 10. To me, the closest thing would probably be God of War, honestly, with the PlayStation 4 or through Xbox One. Whatever. This movie is also really close. So yeah, those are my thoughts about the movie. And right now I'm going to get into more spoilery. This is not going to be a very long review because, it takes so freaking long to upload really long videos. Okay, so here we go. Spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, please leave. I don't want you to write any angry comments like, "Oh, you spoiled the entire movie for me. I'm not gonna watch it. I hate you." I don't want that. So, please leave. I'm gonna start talking about spoilers in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, so Avengers Endgame is really all about 5 parts. It's a 5-part movie. The first part is essentially a continuation to Infinity War. And honestly, it's pretty good. This part is pretty good. It's a bit slow. And it feels very, and you can feel the mood. It's really just sad because half the population has died, stuff like that. Tony Stark and Nebula stuck out in space, and then Captain Marvel rescues them. I don't really know. I don't know. They never explain that. I mean, I'm assuming that because they were on their way to Earth, she found them on the way to Earth because Nick Fury called her and all that. I'm assuming that's what happened, but they never explained it. They never actually went into it. It was really vague, and Captain Marvel really didn't have a lot of lines. She didn't say a lot. And this led up to a time skip of 5 years. 5-year time skip, after which, Ant-Man is accidentally released from the, whatever it's called, the micro realm, whatever. And it's all like, oh my god, what happened? And I mean, that's understandable. Like, literally just coming out and like half the population of the planet is dead. It's like, what? And I mean, this part is also kind of boring because it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking. They are setting up a lot here, and they're doing it through talking. It's not the worst. It's very manageable. Honestly, even this part just flew right past. Honestly, the entire movie is 3 hours, and I mean, when I walked out of the theater, it felt like I've been in there for like what, half an hour. So it works. They set it up. The acting works. Paul Rudd carries this part with his comedy and humor and general good acting. So we get to the third part. This is when they start regrouping, so to speak. This is where they come up with the time heist, He figures out that, 5 years was like 5 hours for him, so they should be able to, enter the quantum realm and exit it again at different points in time. And they start, coming up with that, and they start working together, coming together again. And this part is really cool when they starting planning the entire time heist and stuff. And this is probably like the longest part of the movie. This is the biggest meat of the movie, because in the time heist is really 2 parts: the planning and the actual heist. And honestly, this part of the movie could have been my favorite part of the movie. Honestly, it could have been, it would have been. We're getting to the other moments later though, but for now, this part is great. They revisit movies. Like, they revisit Avengers, they revisit Guardians of the Galaxy at the beginning, they revisit Thor 2. Thor gets this really great scene together with whatever the actress is called, she who plays his mom. They do a really great scene. Honestly, I love that scene. It's amazing. Works so great. And, all these things that happen, Iron Man gets to meet his dad. Like, I didn't see that coming in this movie. I really didn't. They did so many things here, and there are so many references, and like, you get to see scenes from the first Avengers movie from different angles and beyond where it cuts. Like, for example, a scene ends at a certain point, but here you actually see what happened after that. Not a ton of it, but a bit of it. And it really worked well. I was like literally like smiling as much as I could throughout this entire part of the movie. It just worked great. And honestly, Thanos, being the badass that he is, manages to find out about all this and uses it to his advantage. It's really cool. Unfortunately, I mean, there is one major plot hole here, and that is, of course, that why would Nebula not turn off freaking roaming when going to the past? It just makes no sense. It's so dumb, but it works. It works. I'm willing to forgive that. And of course, this leads to the final battle, where Thanos from the past comes to the future with his ship and a massive army, and they have this awesome final battle. Oh, it's so cool. It's so great. This is definitely my favorite part of the movie. The final battle. It's a huge, fight with pretty much every single character that has appeared. I don't know. I don't remember seeing Ghost, but I don't think there were a lot of other characters that weren't in it. And, it's just all of them versus Thanos, his massive army, and his general guys, Ebony Maw and those guys, and it's so freaking cool. It's such a great final battle. It actually felt a lot more epic than the final battle of Infinity War. The war of Infinity War, not the final battle between Captain America and Thanos. That wasn't much of a fight, but it's still a super epic scene. But that's not what we're talking about here. So the final battle of Avengers Endgame, such a cool part. And honestly, there were several moments of this part of the movie where literally the entire audience in the theater, in the cinema, just clapped and went, woo! It was really cool, and it felt like everybody was like into it. Everything was so cool, and everybody realized just how cool it was. And yeah, there were so many cool aspects of that battle. Ooh. And, they have this big scene where they show both armies, and you see Ant-Man standing there as like a giant, and you see all the Avengers and all the main characters just standing there ready to fight, and then they just clash, and it's really epic, really cool. I have one little gripe though. Captain Marvel. What was she doing? She did one thing. Actually, she did two things in the entire movie. First thing, she saved Tony Stark at the beginning of the movie. Second, she came in and destroyed Thanos' ship. Sure, very important thing, but really it could have been done in another way. It really could have. They didn't have to have her for that. I'm just saying, it felt kind of like they had to invent reasons for her to be there. She wasn't really in the movie a lot. She didn't really play that big of a part. Which is a shame, honestly. It really is. Because they built up that she was going to be in it and that she was going to do something really important. She was a really important character. But really, they could have waited, honestly. She didn't have to be in this movie. Which is too bad. And that brings us to the final part, the end. Oh man, the end. Oh, the end of Endgame. That's a split. That's a split issue, honestly. I'm not sure what I think about the end at this point. On one hand, I love it. On the other hand, I don't love it. Seriously, look, each and every character really kind of just got the end. Move on. Move along. As usual, they've saved the world. Now it's time to move on and wait for the next thing to happen, But there were two characters that didn't get that kind of an ending. And one of them being Captain America. His role in the MCU is done. And I mean, Chris Evans even said earlier that, this is his last movie. He's not going to do any more as it looks right now. You never know with time travel and stuff. They've introduced it once. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens to, become a thing later on. Again, it wouldn't be impossible. It's improbable, but it's not impossible. So his ending was... It was a bit sad, but it was also a good ending. It felt kind of good. It felt like he got what he deserved, in a way. He got to go back in time. He got to be with Peggy, and he got to live out his life. And it works too. Really, there is nothing that says that can't be, his life. There's nothing that says that it couldn't happen. They haven't explained or shown who she actually married or anything like that. It said that she married someone. That's it. And then, of course, we have Tony Stark. And honestly, I feel like his ending was not... It shouldn't have been that way, honestly. He dies. And honestly, I feel like it's kind of weird that he did, because they have the time stone. And honestly, after all that time traveling nonsense, I feel like it wouldn't have been a stretch for Doctor Strange to just grab the stone, reverse time on Tony Stark a bit, bam, he's back to life. I feel like that wouldn't be too big of a stretch, honestly. And just let him have a happy ever after, you know? Because, I mean, sure, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to have a happy ever after. It doesn't have to. The story, it doesn't have to have that. But when you follow a character for that long, it's hard to not want them to have a happy ever after, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Anyway, great movie. Loved every second of watching it. And honestly, I can only recommend it so much. Seriously, I can't recommend it infinitely, but I can recommend it 3000. And that is a reference. So yeah, honestly, I already gave you my rating and thoughts on the movie. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to try to make some kind of animations and stuff. Add some pictures, whatever. So yeah. For now, thanks for watching, and yeah, maybe I'll see you in another video. Maybe I'll make another review or something. Who knows? For now, bye!